Yeah, that's kind of weird. I just watched the Green Lantern trailer. I've watched it a couple of times, and not. I guess I can't even call it Green Lantern. It's just the Lanterns trailer for the upcoming series, and it is very strange. But I think I might have some ideas about what's going on with it and what the show is going to be about, and maybe that'll help fix it. But I know that there's been a lot of conversation about how weird this trailer is and how it hasn't really helped anybody's opinion of the idea, which is there's a lot happening here. Let's break it down real quick. Back when James Gunn first took over the DC Comics movie TV studios, back then they announced that they were going to make a Green Lantern show, and this was huge because the poor Green Lantern fans out there have been starved for content about this character. Back when the DC Extended Universe was happening, they announced a few Green Lanterns projects, and none of them followed through. This really hurt the company's reputation in regards to making things. Like, this was just a general problem that they had, but especially for Green Lantern. But they kept teasing that the show was coming, and they kept teasing that, like, it was going to have all the elements of Green Lantern that people were excited about. We were going to get all kinds of characters. We were going to get all kinds of lore about it. And like a couple days ago, recently, they dropped the trailer, and it is strange because there's almost no Green Lantern about it. It's very devoid of greens or lanterns. So to catch people up on like what is so weird about this, Green Lantern is a space cop. That's the easiest way to describe him. He is usually a guy from Earth named Hal Jordan, or there's a couple of other people from Earth that get it. If you watch the Superman movie, you would have seen Guy Gardner, who is part of this Green Lantern Corps. And they go throughout space and they do cop stuff in space. That's basically the premise of Green Lantern. And so they dropped this trailer, and it all takes place on Earth. We don't see any Green Lantern shenanigans. There's one shot where we see Hal Jordan fly a little bit, and at the very end, he pushes his ring out towards the camera, and then it cuts, and we don't get to see anything. And I guess we did get to see like the Green Lantern power battery lantern. It's just, you know, the actual Green Lantern that powers the power ring that allows the Green Lantern Corps to do things. Then we saw a little bit of a costume, and that was it. There's no space shenanigans that we could tell from it. There's no superpowers that we saw. All of the action were like car chases and things that are very terrestrial. You know, it's not very Green Lantern of the story to have like car chases. You know, it feels a little too small scale for what this character actually is. And then, you know, when we've been promised that we were going to get Green Lantern stuff, a show, a movie, whatever, we've been promised that for years and years and years, and then it, like, this drops and it's just like, it's a little bit deflating. But there were a couple of things that I noticed in the trailer that I think give us some clues as to what this is about. And I think we might actually see something really, really cool that will take Green Lantern in a really cool direction. First is that Hal Jordan is training John Stewart. Both of them are Green Lanterns in the comics, and they're like concurrent too. They are Green Lantern at the same time. And in this show, it's very clear that Hal Jordan is training him up to be a replacement for him, which that brings up a lot of interesting questions. One of the big themes of Green Lantern is all about emotion and controlling yourself, self-control, one could say, and specifically willpower, having your own willpower to accomplish things. The ring works off of willpower. And that's always in contrast, or at least in the book, it's always painted in contrast to fear. The opposite of fear is willpower. You conquer fear with your willpower, and fear can disable you from using your own will. That's kind of the big theme of Green Lantern. If I were to write it in one sentence, that's Green Lantern. And so the idea that Hal Jordan is training a replacement makes me wonder, did he do something? Or did something happen to Hal to make him want to leave the Green Lanterns, or maybe make him so that he's forced to consider leaving the Green Lanterns? One of the bigger story arcs in the comics was when Hal Jordan became Parallax, which was huge. Parallax was like this villainous alter ego of Hal Jordan, where he was overcome by grief. Now, I don't suspect that the whole Parallax thing has happened already within like the timeline of the show. I don't think that's what it is. I think that would be too big to just ignore. However, we do have plenty of instances where like Hal Jordan gets paralyzed by either a fear of losing someone or fear of having failed at saving someone, something like that. And later on in the trailer, Jon Stewart talks about how it's Green Lantern's role to protect people, and Jon is already better at that than Hal is, which makes me think, Hal must have messed up at some point then, and that's what's like holding him back, which is why he's having to train his new replacement. Thing is though, if that's what the case is, it's weird that he's training him on what appears to be a road trip. Now, road trips are very central to Green Lantern because he is a space cop, but one of his biggest stories and one of the most influential comics of the 1970s was Green Arrow, Green Lantern, Hard Traveling Heroes. It was the Hard Traveling Heroes is kind of the umbrella term they use for what this story was. And basically it was Hal Jordan, it was Oliver Queen, the Green Arrow. They were traveling across the country on this big road trip, finding like these small cities in America, solving crime, fighting bad guys, all that kind of stuff. And it was really influential for how superhero storytelling evolved from before that point to afterwards. Very substantial stuff. So I can see the road trip thing happening in the Lantern show, but then it's like, if you were going to do Hard Traveling Heroes, if you were going to have Hal Jordan and some other guy go to these small towns, solve crimes, protect people, and what we're seeing in this trailer is they're going to a small town, a small like kind of cowboy town in the middle of the United States, maybe the Southwest somewhere, then why did we do 2 Green Lanterns? We should have made it Hard Traveling Heroes. You should have put Green Arrow in it. I think if they did that, if it was a Green Lantern, Green Arrow show, and they went in that direction with the Hard Traveling Heroes thing, I think people would have accepted it. In fact, I think this would have been a fantastic and amazing trailer that people would just fawn over on the internet, except that they aren't, because we're using 2 Green Lanterns, which very firmly places the adventures of these characters either on a cosmic level or on like a big grander scale, like where Superman exists. I don't know. It seems small. But maybe that's just part of the theme that they're going here. If my theory is correct, that this whole thing is about Hal Jordan needing to regain his willpower, then maybe the point of this is that you need to start small to rebuild yourself. And that's what we're seeing here, is we're seeing a smaller event where they have to build himself back up. I don't know. But here's what I do know. DC Comics has put a lot of work in the last couple of years in trying to turn around their TV and movie studios. You can go ahead and like all of the Snyderverse stuff from Man of Steel up to the Flash movie. Fine. There's things in there to like. But they did make a lot of mistakes that hurt their core audience's trust. Steve Jobs the guy who started Apple, he was very famous for saying that your reputation is like a bank account, and every time you do something bad, you take a withdrawal from that trust, and you have to fill it back up by doing good, trustworthy things as a deposit into this bank account. DC has been doing a lot of deposits lately. But what I'm getting at is that DC has been putting in the work to make sure things are good before it gets released. I have faith that this is going to be good. Is it going to be what Green Lantern fans need right now? That's a different question. We know that they're open to doing weird and different things. I mean, they're making a Clayface movie of all things, so they must be open to trying new and weird stuff. So I have to believe, they're doing this. I think it's going to be good. And I think the second Green Lantern thing they do is going to be the thing that gets fans of the character really excited. But right now I think they're more so concerned about building the fan base for this character that really hasn't had a fan base since, I don't know, maybe Justice League, the cartoon. And in the new medium, you can't just rely on the comic book fans that existed to come in and care. You have to rely on them, but you also have to build up a new fan base. And I think that's what this show is about. I think this show is about creating a foundation for people to understand what is the point of Green Lantern, what is it about. Please forget about the Ryan Reynolds movie, Ready, Set, Go. And, maybe this is the way they chose to do it, and maybe this is the right way to talk about the differences between willpower and fear and build a really interesting Green Lantern thing. I don't know. These are just some of the thoughts I've been having with it. But I'm going to wait and see. Usually the first trailer isn't the best telling. Usually the first trailer is just to try and gauge audience reaction to what you're making. And they've certainly got plenty of audience reaction. So, I don't know, we'll see. We'll watch the series. Maybe it'll be fantastic. And that's how I'm going to go forward with this. I'm going to go forward hoping and expecting it to be good. And if it's not, I'll be disappointed later. I'm fine with that. Anyway, that's what I have on my mind right now. Go ahead and put what's on your mind in the comments. And yeah, until next time, thank you for joining me. Have a great day. Remember to always be your best self. See ya.